Not long to go, less than 2 hours. Silindelo Masikane, ENCA senior reporter. Let's come back over to you now. Proceedings underway a little bit later, but we're not even sure if Magudumana herself is going to be in court, but certainly this issue is going to be raised later this morning.
Certainly so, and we know, of course, Gareth, that this seems to be an issue around whether Dr. Nandipha Magudumana was deported or extradited in terms of what she's claiming in her papers. She seems to believe that she was extradited by members of the South African Police Services from Tanzania, and in her affidavit, she is citing the NPA, the Minister of the Police, the investigating officer in this matter, as well as the magistrate of the magistrate of the Bloemfontein court, where she's facing legal proceedings for allegedly aiding and abetting Thabo Bester, as well as the head of the Makate Correctional Center in Kroonstad, where of course she is being held. Now, you would have noticed that of course we have differing opinions from legal and immigration experts with regards to whether this matter is firstly urgent, as well as of course the merits of her application as to what she is claiming. Now, if I read from her actual court papers, I just want to take you to one particular paragraph where she details what she believes transpired before she was before she boarded a chartered plane back to South Africa. She says, on or about the 6th of April in Tanzania, members of the police, the South African police, arrested and forcefully abducted me. On the evening of the 12th of April, I was told that I was going home, and ultimately I was blindfolded and taken to an airport in Tanzania. Although I do not know the members of the South African Police Service, I can confirm that I was taken to the airport in Tanzania by members of the SAPS. Upon my arrival at the airport, I was confronted by two members of the SAPS in full uniform. They took me in a combi and led me to the aircraft. They both ordered me to get inside the aircraft, where I found about 4 members of the SANDF inside the aircraft. I then sat in the aircraft flanked by members of the SAPS as well as members of the Defence Force. Now, following that briefing earlier this week from the Home Affairs Ministry, they have already taken issue with the fact that Dr. Nandipha has not cited Home Affairs as a respondent in this matter. We do know that the Home Affairs Department does intend on sending legal representatives to the matter that's going to be heard just after 10 a.m. this morning, because according to Home Affairs, it is immigration officials who were the ones who brought Dr. Nandipha back into the country, because this was an issue of deportation and not extradition, saying that they did receive a notice from officials in Tanzania saying that Bester and Dr. Nandipha were undesirable immigrants and that they were there illegally in the country, and the officials in Tanzania then demanding that South African officials bring immigration officials to deport the pair due to the fact that they were in the country illegally, stating that they were not going to hand them over to anyone from law enforcement in particular. So we did have an opportunity then to speak to a legal expert with regards to the merits of her case. This is what one of them has had to say.
The application is quite an interesting one. As you go through the application, it will be noted that the applicant does mention very briefly about deportation, but also focuses more on extradition. If the matter is a matter of extradition, my view is that firstly the Minister of Justice should have also been cited in this matter, because the laws surrounding extradition and the treaty that has been signed by South Africa and Tanzania clearly indicates that the Minister of Justice is supposed to have launched an application and a request for her to be extradited. However, the application seems to be also a little vague in terms of supporting evidence in her application to say which way it should actually go. So it will be quite interesting at the end of this application and processes in court to hear what the outcome would be.